room watching you guys on TV.
Frank, great to have you here. Let's see the two guys again.
Oh, you make me run. Here's Mark. Tawfik.
Hey,
All right, how are you, mate?
good. How are you?
Good, brother. And who else was
We got Lance Barca.
Lance.
Fortunately, this laptop, right?
Hello, how's it going?
Hey, man, good to see you. Frank, you got to put them up, buddy. They're better looking. I hate to tell you.
Well, no comment.
I mean, look at me. Look at me. You know, that's why the camera's a long way away, my brother. All right.
All right, cool. Thanks.
So, David, you're the guy who won Jeopardy.
Yes, my name's David Ferrara, and it's true. I am a one in a row Jeopardy champion from 2020.
Good
I did
enough
beat
for me.
Alex Trebek. What's that?
I said, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, one more than most people, I suppose.
Right.
I live in Los Angeles. I've been a realtor for 5 years, the last 3.5 with EXP, Coldwell Banker before that. And I live in the Hollywood Hills and cover all of the Los Angeles.
Fantastic.
I also had a career working in films before. I worked on crews as a gaffer and a cinematographer, so I know a lot of neighborhoods because I've lived and worked all over LA, and I look forward to this new team and experience.
Just love that. We're very proud to have you on board. Hey, Michael, hit us, bud.
What's up, guys? How are we doing this morning? My name is Mike. I'm originally from Northern California. I moved to SoCal.
Okay, your mic isn't working, bro. It's all muffled. Sounds like you're down a tunnel. Okay, fix test your mic and come back. I'll come back to you in just a minute. Okay, Richard, go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name
Hi.
is Richard Montoya. I'm from the San Gabriel Valley, near Pasadena and Sierra Madre area in Monrovia. Looking forward to working with the team. I've been inactive for the last couple years. I've been a realtor for 20 years, and I've been focused mainly on my rental and Airbnb properties, but I'm ready to come back and serve clients.
Fantastic. Welcome, buddy. Kimberly Smith, I've seen your name on the board. You've been an active lady so far. We have two Kimberlys. Oh, you're the new Kimberly Smith. We have another Kimberly Smith. So there you go.
New one or old one? Who's my twin?
So Kimberly, you came from a
And
flex.
is it me?
You came from a flex team somewhere else, I think, right?
No.
Okay. So tell us about you rather than me guessing.
Well, I live in the Pasadena, Arcadia area. Wait, is there another one?
Call them right now.
Go ahead, Kimberly.
So, area. I drive all Los Angeles. I've been doing real estate for 3 years. Before that, I was doing loan signing when the big refi boom was happening. So that's kind of how I learned about real estate, which was cool.
Good.
And I used to work in radio and TV, and now I'm here, and I'm excited. It's really fun.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. Mr. Walker, the Walker Group, let's hear from
Thank you.
Good morning to all. Good morning to you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing this platform with all of us.
Welcome.
I've been in the business now full time for 21 years, and I couldn't see myself doing anything other than real estate. Those of you that are currently attached to this platform, trust me, it's a tremendous blessing.
Well, we're very happy to have you here. Now, look, I just realized that we've doubled the number of people on the call, and there's a number of people who've come into the room. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started, and right after lunchtime, we're going to introduce 10 or 12 people. You're just going to need to chime in, right? If we didn't introduce you this first time, and we're just going to get out to the meat and potatoes of that. Is everybody good with that? If so, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Hi.
Perfect, guys. So look, this is really divided into two categories, okay? Part of the category, and we get that out of the way first, is a lot of administrative stuff that if you miss it, it just makes it harder for you to execute. So you may look at this in the first hour and go, dear Lord, I have to sit through this for 2 days. It's not all admin. So part of it is admin and our process. And the quicker you understand our process, the quicker you'll be able to convert and make money and help Americans get homes. I would say at least 2/3 of this is our sales system. And there are idiosyncratic aspects of our sales system. And please understand, this is coming from a guy who's sold well over 2,000 homes myself with my name on the contract. It's coming from a guy who's been doing professional sales for 45 years. So I'm not going to teach you something because I'm a seminar teacher and I want $100. I'm going to teach you something because I've done it. I do it. Still, even running a couple of corporations, my wife and I still help Americans get into homes, but not very much. When we started this particular team 3 years ago, we did 65% of the transactions. Now we do 5% of the transactions. So the team is not built on us. It's built on a platform that and systems that we've learned over nearly 5 decades, definitely 4 decades. So we're sharing from the heart, and we're sharing from a practical experience base. I'd like, if I may, just give you a little bit of a big picture at first. You all don't realize that when you signed up with us, you signed up to get leads and to sell homes. That is a reality. That will happen. And most of you on this Zoom and in this room will have that experience. Of course, like anything in life and in America, it's directly related to the amount of effort and the amount of attention that you put to it. But assuming that everybody will put in effort and attention, is willing to grow, then everybody will be successful. There's certainly enough at the top of the funnel. We've built this team based on the theory that it is our job running these teams to provide a full funnel. That what's the point in learning how to knock on doors if there's no doors? What's the point in learning how to do open houses if there's no open houses? What's the point in building you a business and selling you a seminar for $900 on Sphere of Influence if you've got realistically 20 home buyers in your cell phone and you want to sell 20 homes a year? It's just not realistic. So we believe in Sphere of Influence. I've personally knocked on tens of thousands of doors. But we also built this team based on the understanding that technology, this is no great announcement, technology is disrupting and fundamentally and permanently changing every major industry in the world, from shipping to travel to now real estate. Real estate, interestingly enough, has been behind that 8 ball, and many other companies have changed their functional platforms and operational systems much more significantly than real estate. You'll hear a joke we say around here that we're still operating the 1905 system. 1905 was when the California Association of Realtors was formed. And in 1905, we taught get to know people in your town. There was one real estate person in each town, 10 different groups, and people would come and they would tie up their horse outside your brokerage and look at the pictures in the window. Well, obviously the world's changed a lot. You have to think a lot of what you have been taught was based on a system that was formed 20 or 30 years after they discovered electricity. Think about that. Now we're creating platforms and systems based on 20 or so years after they invented the internet. And so the world has fundamentally changed. Even though we do believe still in relational contact, we understand that the future of real estate is ruled by who controls the traffic. And that's why we have this relationship with Zillow. We all believed in traffic in real estate years ago, but the essential theory was if you hire enough agents know enough people, and quid pro quo, you will get enough business. Well, today, unfortunately, that world has changed, and many people who know people buy property through agents who are referred by those who control the traffic. When I was younger, the idea was buy a piece of land next to the freeway, build a big box store, and people would come to your store because you controlled the traffic. Before that, the iteration of retail was open small stores on every main street you can in America, and just because you're on those main streets, you'll get traffic. Well, the same thing is now happening to real estate. It's just that we're just now really waking up to it. Zillow saw this coming. Realtor.com saw this coming. I remember going to meetings when I was younger, debating whether or not we should IDX transfer our listings to Realtor.com. And many people, including myself, opposed it because we said the minute you give away the traffic, you give away the industry. And that's exactly what we've done. So let's live with it. Let's not be resentful. Let's not talk about the way it was when they invented electricity. Let's look at what to do next. And what to do next is we need to learn how to service that traffic flow, understanding that Zillow has about 220 million visitors a month. Compass has about 9 million. Keller Williams has about 3.5 million. Century 21 has 4 to 5 million. RE/MAX has about 6 million. If you add up all the major brokerages and look at their traffic, and you put together Zillow and Realtor.com, Zillow and Realtor.com have approximately 10x the total traffic of the entire mortgage brokerage industry. So my thinking was, even at this stage in my life, I've always been a guy who models and creates things to scale. How do we create a company, a platform and technology that will serve those who are dominating the industry? The idea right now that I raise $200 or $300 million to create and promote a platform like Zillow or Realtor.com is somewhat redundant. What's more important is, how do we create a conversion platform that companies like Zillow and Realtor.com, with all due respect, that's not their business. Their business is creating traffic. Their passion, let's talk about that, their passion is bringing home ownership. I personally believe, and many others believe, that the home buyer in America is the most underserved consumer bracket of any high purchase in the world. I'm going to say that again. I believe, and many others believe, that the home buyer in America is the most underserved bracket of consumer for a high-end purchase in America, because the structure that was set up to support this underserved community was agent-centric rather than customer-centric. This, by the way, was the same approach in the travel industry. The travel industry had travel agents everywhere who were open 9 to 5, usually not on Saturdays and Sundays. And if you wanted to go to Paris and stay in 3 hotels and then drop over to Malaga afterwards, you had to have a travel agent. The travel agent controlled the data, so the travel agent could control the consumer. Well, Travelocity and Priceline changed that forever. That now that data is available to consumers when the data wants it, when the consumer wants it, how the consumer wants it, and the consumer is able to price exchange. That has not yet happened to the real estate industry. It's still essentially an agent-centric industry rather than a consumer-centric industry. And I will say to you, I'm a great believer from a corporate point of view that the entire industry is going to change in the next 5 years, that like Travelocity, like Priceline, it will become consumer-centric rather than agent-centric. So then the question is this: how do we all make money in that? How are we part of the mission? How are we part of the consumer revolution? And how do we build out a structure for ourselves that is profitable and also fulfilling over the next 10, 20, or 30 years? So obviously technology is a huge part of that. We personally have not built out the funnel. Zillow's built out that funnel. Realtor.com have built out that funnel. So tech is used for the funnel volume. Everything that I share with you is redundant. You are wasting your time unless you have massive volume above your head, and that volume is constantly creating an infusion of opportunity. So our role is to create that volume. We also, and we do that by B2B relationships with companies like Zillow. Now look, we run advertising platforms that generate literally tens of thousands of leads a year. You are not part of that platform. It doesn't mean you can't be part of that platform. But today we're talking about our B2B relationship, which is our relationship with Zillow. We use tech for what we call funnel processing. So this may sound very technical to you and very cold compared to an agent-centric message, but we use tech for funnel processing. We realize that just like millions of people want to travel, and they cannot wait for a travel agent to show up 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, so also there's millions of people who want to buy and sell homes, and they also cannot wait for us to be available. So just like Travelocity learned how to process the funnel of travelers, we are part of the disruptive revolution, learning how to process the funnel of millions of Americans who want to buy and sell homes. So our specialty is funnel processing. And that's what you're going to hear a lot about in the next 2 days. We also use tech for customer responses. We've learned, we call it here the Amazon principle, that when an Amazon buyer wants an answer, and I don't think there's a single person here who hasn't bought something from Amazon. You want the answer now, you want a price compare now, you want to know the availability now, and you want to know the deliverability now. That same consumer is now shopping for real estate. And so we believe that consumer in real estate deserves the same attention that they deserved in Amazon. So we need a customer response mechanism. Most of us on this Zoom and in this conference today have used drips, we've used mass emails, we've used smart plans, so that we somehow create an automation level. And most of us are learning that most people don't respond to that. They're now immune to it. They're immune to bulk emails. They're immune to many of these strategies that we've used. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call. You wouldn't be willing to have Zillow take 35%, split 50-50 with us. You just go, hey, I'm just going to get a bulk email list and I'll be able to sell 20 deals a year. We all know that's not true. I don't think there's one person on this Zoom who hasn't had some company pitch them that if you give them $395 up front and they'll get a referral fee on the back end, that they'll create all these closings for you. We know it's not true. However, we do need tech for customer response. So one of the things you'll learn with us on this team is how we use tech in a very organic way, in a daily cadence, to be able to take care of the customers who don't immediately buy. Nearly 50% of our closings every month, and by the way, we did 468 closings last year. Nearly 50% of our closings are people who were introduced to us 60 days or more ago. Therefore, if you're not using tech for customer response, you're going to miss 50% of your opportunity. We also use tech for what we call agent metrics. This is also a rather new concept that has emerged in recent years. I'm not saying we invented it. I definitely believe that we're creating a platform that optimizes what we call agent metrics. And agent metrics, I'd like you to picture this so we make it less emotional. I want you to picture, I right now, for example, have land in escrow for $2.5 million, and Amazon wants to buy it, or at least their commercial development department wants to buy it. We're going through rezoning so they can build a 1 million square foot warehouse facility. So on that 1 million square foot warehouse facility, you have to think that a huge facility, trucks pull up by the thousands. They have to have forklifts to take the material off the trucks. They have to know what the box count is, what the forklift count is, what the shelf count is, what the square footage is, how long it takes to get so many boxes to so many shelves. It's a process. So Amazon advertises and they say, hey, tell us what hours you want to work. They then plug you into a metric system. The metric system knows exactly how many man hours it takes to get X number of thousands of boxes into 1 million square feet and then sort it and redisperse it out to the consumer shipping department. This is exactly what Travelocity did. They said, how do you take X million number of travelers, input them into a portal, process them through that portal? How many staff does it take to process them? Now, the revolution that came after COVID, that nobody wants to work in offices and everybody wants to work at home, is part of that process. Now bring that to real estate. We're looking at real estate as X number of millions of people want to or deserve to buy a home. They want to do it when they want to do it, how they want to do it with full disclosure. How do we create enough people and a proven process that if Tracy says, I've got 2 hours on Wednesday, 2 hours on Friday, and 2 hours on Sunday, how do we fit her into that metric? How does her metric fit the macrocosmic metric so that we can use those hours for Tracy to make money and a homeowner to get home and process that lead? I hope that makes sense. So we call that agent metrics. That's why we ask you to tap all the time what the status of your client is. That's why you'll learn about Bob in this training, which is our time management funnel and our customer management funnel. All of this is part of you. To be able to manage metrics, you have to create metrics. So we have to find agents who are willing to generate metrics. That's a new mindset. Also, we use tech for agent management. So pretty soon that's going to be all automated. Now we do it manually. We have screens all over our office. You really should come and see it. We have staff all over our office that are every minute of every day. Right now, there's 7 people behind me here who are managing agents and exactly what they're doing, because today we'll have a minimum of 25 new live buyers from Zillow, from San Pedro to San Diego. So we need to be on the ball. And Zillow is saying to us, how many thousands can you take? How many parts of the country can you go to? Because we're developing a metric system that Zillow can rely on to cover the huge traffic that they have. All right, so I hope that gives you an idea of where we're at. From an ideological point of view, I'd like you to hear where my head's at. So we have a team here. You're part of that team now in your area, and that team is not geocentric, it is customer centric. You could say it's geo-dotted, so call our geo-dot Southern California. But our mentality is that our farm is the consumer. So where the consumer is, there shall we be also, right? So our mission is to gather agents who will care for each other and care for the consumer and create what we call a home ownership mission. We are on a home ownership mission through viral lead conversion. We want to create a viral movement throughout America where agents are so excited about the idea of lead conversion because they realize that they're part of what I will consider to be a historic revolution in home ownership in America. Home buyers in America have been one of the most underserved communities for a high-end purchase for many, many years. HUD is trying to intervene in that process. They just had legislation against Facebook. HUD is constantly in communication with those who operate Zillow and Realtor.com. HUD wants to see that every American has the opportunity to purchase a home and they're treated fairly and equally. We're going to see a revolution in home ownership in America. I personally believe you're going to see fractionalization of residential home ownership that is going to create a tremendous surge in the number of people who can qualify for homes. But whatever happens coming up, the companies that form these structures need to have a conversion mechanism. Just to let you know, we're building out this operational system, this conversion system. We call it iConvert. iConvert, C-O-N-V-R-T, iConvert. This is a corporation that's owned by a company called Kind One Technology. And Kind One Technology is building out this technology that we can convert the consumer into the transaction that they deserve in a highly inclusive, highly competitive environment. So my passion is that we build out that platform. We prove the platform with agents who truly believe in creating a new surge of home ownership in America. And the piece about this that's super cool, I actually started my day, most days I start at 5. This morning I was on the phone with consultants who actually helped start EXP itself and build out their corporate structure. And they are working for us over the coming months, starting, it's happening right now, that we can take Kind One Technology and iConvert into a company that agents partially own. My mission is that as we create this home ownership mission, that agents across America who participate with it will also participate by having options for shares in the company that they are part of creating this revolution with. So you can hear by this, I'm somewhat of an idealist. I'm definitely ideological. I came to America as an immigrant with no money, and I've been blessed in this country with what I've been able to achieve. And I want to see other people, good people like yourself, who want to work, A, to create that home ownership revolution, to create a new way of thinking about home buyers, B, to put them in homes and make money when you put them in homes, and C, to join with us in the benefit of the growth of this corporation. I want to say, for full disclosure, there's no guarantee there. There's no guarantee what will happen. I'm sharing with you what our vision is. that I convert as part of Kind One Technology can be a company where agents are able to participate when they close a transaction with options in shares in that company. And you say, well, why options in shares? Because if you just directly give shares, then you have to pay taxes on those. So we want to make sure that agents can participate. I remember a story many years ago when Starbucks was getting big, and I would walk into Starbucks and I'd see attractive, clever people, and I would say, why do you work here? And they would give me the same answer every time. They would say, one reason is because I get benefits, and the second reason is because I get shares. And Starbucks built their company based on the idea that people wanted to own a part of that company. So that's my vision. It's a revolution, a disruption in the home ownership process, the home ownership acquisition process in America, building teams and supporting teams that do that across America, and providing a platform that we're able to use technology to process that funnel. That's my introduction. I hope it makes sense, and I hope it puts in place the technical things that we're going to go through in just a moment. Does anybody have a brief question regarding what I just said? There's no dumb question, by the way, so if there's any question, you're welcome to ask it. If not, we're going to move forward. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Right? Okay, so no, keep the recording and let's go into boot camp. Okay, so we're now going to get granular, guys. If at any point, please, if at any point audio goes out or there's some technical glitch, just raise your hand and Lainey will make sure that we respond and adjust accordingly. Just message on chat. It's 10:34 now. We're going to work together for the next hour and a half and then have lunch for 40 minutes. Sorry, those of you online, don't yet have the technology to use a 3D printer and send you your lunch. We're going to eat lunch here for 40 minutes and we'll be back on again at 12:40. Yeah, I'm working on that, sending a sandwich to you, but I just don't have that tech yet. By the way, we have super cool teams building out this platform. It's really exciting. This is not the time for me to really share with you the platform, but it's very exciting what's going on there in Pakistan and India. I went to school with a lot of kids in Pakistan and India because I grew up in England, you know, the history. And there's very, very cool tech that we're building out. I wish, honestly, the tech existed, the platform existed, because I would spend at least $10,000 a month just for the lease, but it doesn't exist right now. We have CRMs, but this is the next generation of CRMs. Okay, so boot camp. Let's go to the practical things. If you go down to the first page, Lainey, for me, that would be great. All right, perfect. So please look in chat. You have the link to every document. It would definitely be helpful to you guys to pull it up as we go. I'm not going to labor these points. I'm assuming that everybody here reads and reads well. But this is the week with Warburton team, what happens. And if you would just get familiar with this, we encourage you on Mondays and Tuesdays to request LODs. So LODs are lists of leads, leads on demand. You can get 50 at a time. These people are people who over the last 6 months have been connected to us live by Zillow Corporation, have looked at a home, and for one reason or another, we have disconnected with them. Okay, it can be many, many reasons. They lost their job, they split up with a spouse, whatever, right? But we then analyze them and see in what we call our insights channel that they're looking at property and saving 2 to 10 properties a week. That's a home buyer, right? It's a regular cadence. In that instance, you can get lists of these people, and those who are most successful with us start immediately with those. Howard, for example, started 6 weeks ago. He sat here for 10 days. He called 50 of them a day for 10 days. He now has 5 properties in escrow. That's a fact. So LODs are available every Monday and Tuesday. We can send you lists. As soon as you've gone through the list, we'll send you another one. Reveal and Bob, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., we have a Zillow conference, and we go through each agent's funnel metrics on your book of business. That's what Bob is, okay? And you'll have maybe 5 minutes with me or with one of the sales managers on Zoom, and it just is a simple cadence. Hey, John, what are you rock solid for this month? Andy, I am going to put 2 in escrow this month of company leads. Great. Then we hold you to it. What do you have in your 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day column? Who are your agents in? Who are your clients in your top 5? Then you color grade those agents based on how they are in the sales process. And then Bob also contains your calendar so that the ICAs can see your calendar and know when you're available. So Bob happens every Tuesday. Now, some of you get mega busy and you drop on and drop off for 5 minutes. Others of you stay for the full hour and a half. That's up to you. There is a roster taken every Tuesday for everybody who's on Reveal, because Zillow wants to know who's really working these connections and who's just taking a name and number, calling once and never trying again. Unfortunately, Zillow doesn't have a lot of patience for that. So they want to know who's interactive. So we take a roster every Tuesday. Those of you who are on the roster get leads that week. Those of you who are not on the roster don't get leads that week. All right. Then Zillow Best Practices happens Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. I still, to this day, host that. If not, Kathy hosts that. And we go into techniques that we use in the Zillow Premier app and how to use your Zillow Premier app to process home buyers through your funnel. That's every Tuesday at 2 p.m. It's not mandatory. It's highly recommended. Every Wednesday, it's our second mandatory event of the week. We do a Wednesday training from 9:30 to 11:30 in this room. Right now, about 40 people attend in the room, 40 people or so attend online, and we go through very granular information. Sometimes your metric charts, and you can see where you are compared to the rest of the team. You can see where you are individually, and there are metrics that Zillow requires. The numbers you need to know are 100, 65, 15, and 5. Out of 100 connections, they expect 65 meetings with a customer. Out of those 65, they expect 15 to write offers. And out of those 15, 5 of them to purchase a home. If you drop below that metric, you go into what's called our Pause and Grow Zoom group for a month. And during that month, we set you on LODs and specific training so that a month later, you're ready to go again. All right. Every Thursday, we do a specialized training. Again, not mandatory, but recommended. Last week, I did a training on investors. How do you identify an investor? How do you process investors? How do you funnel investors? How do you convert investors? By the way, I should let you know that in 1 year, in 2013, I personally found, discovered, offered, and sold 303 properties to an investment group. The gentleman's now passed away, but it was an extraordinary occurrence, and I've done that many, many times. Not to that volume, but many, many, many times. So we teach you in that class how my wife and I bought 20 flips in a year and made quite a lot of money on those flips, somewhere north of $700,000 just in that 1 year. So we do specialized training on Thursdays, and then once a month, we do lead conversion boot camp. So that's what goes on with us. Let's go over to the next screen. And here's some people. I think this is actually a horizontal piece. It is. Sorry about that. So my wife, Annette, the only way you can really offend me, guys, is if you lie or if you think that my wife is a good female assistant. So I believe in inclusiveness. I believe all humans are created equal. And so Annette's highly intelligent, graduated from Kansas State, ran an architectural design firm for a leading architect in Kansas. She's a huge part of our organization. And so, you know, I trust her and rely on her and she on me. Kathy Rainier is our director of sales. She ran Tarbell offices for many, many years. And you will definitely have contact with her through your transactional experience. Lainey Allison is very experienced as director of operations, actually came from the educational sector, and is extremely valuable with our operational aspects. Jessica Delano runs our closing department. Zillow actually has access to and shares with us our closing command doc, which is highly elaborate, has about 40 different columns that they track so they can create predictable production. So anytime you have a transaction that is from us, then that has to be closed through that department, and you'll use a BRBA for what you call TC fee, but it's actually a closing fee. Jenny Semeny is our lead ICA. She runs the ICAs. You'll get to know her. And Lauren Corcoran's been with us in 2 different business enterprises for the last 15 years, and she's heads up our tech coordination. So let's go to the next page if we can. All right, this is just a quick summary. I'm not going to read it to you of resources and links. Here's phone numbers of people I just explained to you. I want to read the top sentence. The Warburton team moves fast. Our tech partners have thousands of connections a month. They need tech-savvy, hardworking, inclusive, and fast-moving agents. That's what we built our team on. Watch for leads throughout the day and let us help you fill your calendar. I will share with you gently and lovingly, if you're the kind of person who sees your phone as a phone to make phone calls, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with us. Your tertiary experience of your cell phone is to make phone calls. The primary is to receive data. The second is to process data. And the third, in the business environment, I understand people use it for entertainment. The third is to make a phone call. Being actively interactive with your device is highly important. Very often with these connections, we have 5 minutes to find the right agent based on the metrics that we have. And you being interactive with those devices is extraordinarily important. Okay, there's the team admin and phone numbers. Here's links to our CRM. When you come on board with us, we actually connect you to Lofty as a CRM because the AI interface is excellent. There's a Lofty Learning Center link right there, and your onboarding video with Lofty is there. It's imperative you do that onboarding video in your first few minutes. And anytime you get stuck on Lofty, you can click on that little question mark icon at the top right-hand corner of the screen, and artificial intelligence will walk you through it exactly how to use or achieve what you want to do. Those 2 phone numbers below are the 2 phone numbers that will send you WhatsApp messages or call you with live customers. When we disperse connections, we disperse them right now through WhatsApp because the groups are not sensitive to whether you have an iPhone or a Droid. We used to do it with texting. It didn't work. So we will send out a message that's saying, hey, Bob wants to see a property in San Pedro on Sunday at 10. It goes out to 30 or so people in that region. And the first one to respond will get it. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's like Up City. No, it's not. Trust me, you will be saturated with business. It just depends on how quickly you can respond and how available you are. You need those 2 numbers stored in your phone. It should say the Warburton Team ICA 1, the Warburton T ICA 2. And when you get, you should definitely have an identifying tone on your device for those numbers. You'll have a few minutes to respond and say whether or not you're available. Okay. We have a ton of training videos in the YouTube channel. Okay. Please read right there what the playlists are. There are sales training playlists, Zillow training playlists, tech training playlists. They're all there in our YouTube channel. So that's also available for you. Next page, please. Okay. We have most of our training events we also put on YouTube. We're actually breaking those up so when you see it, you don't have to listen to an hour and a half, but you can look through the section that you're looking for. So there's the Zoom, all the trainings that are on Zoom are recorded, and we will share that with you. Please note, my Zoom, the connection is there. The admin Zoom, the connection is there. And every week we publish an agent calendar, and that calendar is sent out to you by email. You can also use that URL to see our calendar every week. Highly advise it. Don't miss out on events when Zillow comes here. It's not a good idea. Here's your link to Reveal for Bob and a link to the company website. You're going to need to become very familiar with the company website, GoWP Now. We have roughly 200,000 people a month who use the company website, and it's growing all the time. And you get a subdomain of that website. And if you use your subdomain in your outreach, which I strongly recommend in the tech processing of your funnel, if you use that subdomain, you'll get a push notification and alert on your portable device. You can also get desktop notifications. And I'm going to say something here that's just hugely important. I remember as a boy going to what we call the high street, you call in America Main Street. We would go to a store, and the minute you walk in the store, there's a little metal lever with a bell on it. You go in the store and it goes ding, 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 ding. Some of you can see it in old movies. And I remember that still as a child. Can you imagine that you walk into a store and you're looking for a pair of jeans? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, the clothing professional is in the back office doing inventory, or shall I create the analogy, closing an escrow, or doing computer work. You look at a pair of jeans, you pull them off, you put them by yourself, you look in the mirror, you don't like it, you put them back. You go to another shelf, you pull off a pair of jeans, you look at them, you put them by yourself, you look in the mirror, you put them back. You do it a third time, you look at them, you really like them, and you go, hello? And the person in the back says, no, I just went to a seminar that says I should only be available between 9 and 5, and my personal time is more important than you. I'm going to stay in the back office. That's the real estate industry. The person with the jeans walks out the front door, ding, 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 and goes to the store next door that's run by an online operation that actually has the pair of jeans because they shipped them while you were looking to a box that you open the box and there's the pair of jeans. You swipe your card and tap it and you paid for the jeans. Which store would you operate at? That's the end of the retail world and the launch of Amazon. That's what's happening in the real estate business. So we have every day hundreds upon hundreds of messages that come from Zillow clients and GoWP Now clients. As soon as they're looking at property, saving property, or asking a question about a property, you get a ding either in your Zillow Premier app, or you get a ding on your desktop, or you get a ding through a push notification every day. Even with all of our training, hundreds of those dings are ignored by our agents every day. Because the agent will say, I'm too busy, I'm showing property, and people walk in and walk out, walk in and walk out, walk in and walk out. That is, if anything, it is the biggest challenge that Zillow and Homes.com and Realtor.com have, is how do we get agents who were trained to run independent businesses to be dependent on responsiveness to the consumer? How do we retrain an entire industry that was taught since 1905 it was about them, not about the consumer? That is the single largest challenge in the real estate industry today. So we're addressing that challenge piece by piece, micro by micro. We're addressing it. So you want to make a lot of money, then learn to answer that. Remember my little analogy, to answer that ding, 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 ding. When somebody comes into your store and saves a property, or they're interacting with you, that's the time to interact with them. It doesn't necessarily mean a phone call. Most people who interact online and want to buy online don't want you to call them. They want you to text them. They want you to send them more information. They want something unintrusive, but that will lead to that meeting, which will lead to a sale. Hope that all makes sense. That all came from GoWP Now. You have a question? So I just learned that referral agents don't have a subdomain. That's awful tough. So take the contacts that you have that come in, you can put them into your CRM. Hopefully that CRM has that. By the way, and just so they have Lofty. They have Lofty. So you have the GoWP Now domain, right? Just not the GoWPNow.David Lee, for example. By the way, some of you are going to be super successful. And we don't poach people to our team. We don't do that. People on our team have that. That's not what we're in. I think you can pay them $20 a month or something like that, and you get your subdomain. So if that's what you need to do, do it. Yes, sir. Perfect. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So not getting too far down a funnel. There's always a way with tech. But the point that I'm making here is this. On ZPA, the minute one of your customers interacts with Zillow, provided you have them click on the My Agent invite, please remember that. So when you meet your customer, you're going to open ZPA, you're going to show them the My Agent invite, and you're going to say, look, instead of having a ton of salespeople call you, I am dedicated to you finding a home. I'm devoting myself to you. Would you mind tapping on this right now? You send them your profile. They tap on My Agent for the next 6 months. Every time they go to Zillow, you get a ding. It is hugely valuable. So your phone is going to get these dings from all of the clients you receive from Zillow. Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. All right. Links to Zillow training. Zillow Academy is right there. And then you've got Performance 101, 201, and 301. They're 10 minutes each. Absolutely imperative that you watch those. Real-time tour training. You'll understand what a real-time tour is. And there's a Zillow Home Loans training. Please complete those. By the way, Zillow on the back end runs a metric. Every single day, every week, every month, they look at every agent who's on our platform, and every platform across America. By the way, they've dealt with about 250,000 agents so far over the last 12 years. And they look at that and see who's watched what, who's done the training, who hasn't done the training. What do they want? It's like that Amazon factory. Who's going to show up when the trucks arrive? Right? Who's going to be there for forklifts when the trucks arrive? Who's going to be there to take the product down when the orders arrive? So to do that, you have to learn how to get the stuff off the truck, how to get it onto the shelf, how to get it off the shelf into shipping. So Zillow wants to know, with these 220 million visitors they have a month, who are the new age real estate agents? Who are the agents of the homeowner revolution in America, the homeowner disruption, which is the biggest surge for homeownership ever in the United States? The only way to handle that is they've got to know who are the people who are going to be on point. I hope that all makes sense. That ends that section. Any questions real quick? Let's go to the next section, Lainey. Let me have a quick shot of water here, guys. So when you join us as a referral partner, you receive a welcome email from us. You should have received that already. And the resources and links document is in that email. Please would you store that? Please would you open a folder that says the Warburton team? Put that email in a folder in your email. Many, many people call us asking us questions, and those questions are all answered in that email. You got to understand we're operating on scale here. The scale is going to grow tremendously over the next 12 months. So it is super important that you use the data that we send to you. And then we break it down here, the items you need to complete within 48 hours. So this is the admin piece I was telling you about. Again, here's the important phone numbers. Please save them and save them by their titles. If I were you, I would put TWT in front of all of them. TWT, Director of Sales, TWT, Director of Operations, TWT's Director of Closing Department, TWT Lead ISA, TWT Bat Phone for Leads. Please store those numbers in your phone. Next, Slack. Can you scroll up just a little bit, or will it only scroll partially? Oh, back, please. Okay. Slack is our main source of communication on the Warburton team. We use Slack to share the weekly calendar, announcements, team production updates, event reminders. Everything that you need to prosper in the Warburton team is on Slack. I strongly encourage you participate in it. Every morning, for example, the ICAs jump on and they go, here's your ICAs today. We're going to be here between this time and that time. And sometimes it's crickets. I want to strongly encourage you. They're going to be making a decision how to allocate $1 million lead within 15 minutes of them being in there. And one of the first things they do is they go to Slack and go, who's alive today? Who's working today? Who's at it today? So being active on the Slack feed is a huge part of, making yourself known in the organization. You'll also make friends there. This is our ecosystem. If you like, you're the goldfish, Slack is the bowl with the water in it, right? It's very hard if you're flopping around outside the bowl on your own. All the food goes in that goldfish bowl, and that goldfish bowl is Slack. All members of the Warburton team and referral partners are required to download Slack on your phone, save it to your desktop bookmarks, and participate in these channels. There's a hashtag general channel. There's a hashtag spearhead channel, a hashtag training videos, and a hashtag listings. The two that we use the most are hashtag general and hashtag spearhead. So spearhead, you're going to hear that term a lot with us. That's where our internal team of ISAs, sometimes managers as well, look at what we call a divergence between the intent of the customer and the intent of the agent. What do I mean by that? So a customer comes in with high intent. They look at 7 properties in a week. They save 2 properties at 10 o'clock at night sometimes. That's a high intent customer. We then look across, and by the way, we're devising this with AI, but right now we do it manually. We then look across at the last 2 agent notes. So Bob comes on at 10 at night, saves 2 properties. One of them he's looked at 6 times, and he's looked at 7 different properties in a week. Would you say that indicates that's a buyer? Probably so, right? Then in the agent notes, it says, met them, they showed up late, they weren't interested, they have a friend who's a realtor. Now, that's a divergence. So everybody's got a friend who's got a realtor. It's like saying, I know somebody who's got hair, right? It's a completely irrelevant statement. What's relevant is, were you a leader? Did they see value in you? And did they see that you were interested in creating this home ownership dream? And did they say, if you find me a home, I'll use you? You don't have to lock them down that if they look at any home anywhere and you're lazy operating your lifestyle balance, that they have to pay you a commission. That's unjust. That's what the courts in America are changing right now. All you have to know is, did you make yourself believable enough to this person that when they're interested in real estate, they're going to call you? And if you find them a home, do they feel that it's integrity to let you write it up? And we found the vast majority of people, even when they say they have other agents, if you endear yourself to that person and you send them a property and you show them that property and they see that you're engaged, they're going to let you write it up. My point here is this. The channels in Slack are General and Spearhead. Spearhead is where we look at the divergence between the customer intent and the agent involvement. If we see a divergence there, so the customer is looking at property, saving property, the agent hasn't sent them a message in ZPA, hasn't replied to one of the prompts, hasn't replied to the push notifications, then we will immediately take that new piece of information and we will call that consumer through the ISAs, or we will put that lead on Spearhead channel. And you'll see it, it'll say, $1 million buyer in San Pedro, nobody's spoken to them for a week, they just looked at 7 properties. You can then jump on the Spearhead channel, you can call that customer, but in the Spearhead channel, you have to say, Bob, I'm calling them now, right? If there's no reply, you just jump back on the channel and say no reply. Somebody else will call an hour later. But Spearhead is a constant source of business, just use it appropriately. The hashtag general channel, like I say, displays everything. You know, Lainey, is it possible for you to quickly jump out of this and go on to Slack? Will it take you long? So I want to show that to you really, really quickly. I think it would be very beneficial to you. Yep. So watch this, guys, real quick. Thank you for your attentiveness, by the way. Yep. What? Yep. So let me give you an idea of this really quickly here, guys. So we didn't have this plan, but it just occurred to me this is beneficial to you. So if you have a look here, this is an aspect of our Slack feed that's really important. So every week on Wednesday, which is our team training, actually late Tuesday night, we start to post offers and escrows. It builds team spirit. It gives recognition. And you can see it's Thursday now. Since Tuesday night at 12, Connor's opened a Zillow Flex Escrow with Dominique. Paul has opened a Zillow Flex Escrow with Jimmy. Paul, by the way, has been with us 3 weeks. That's his first $900,000 deal. Aja sent out 2 offers. Justin, he put 4 in escrow so far this year, closed 2. He opened a new escrow at $694. Raquel's been with us under a month. She opened a Zillow Flex Escrow with Chris Lee for $885 in Long Beach. Danae has been with us a couple of months, 3 months maybe. She put an offer out for Diana of $515. Jenny, this is Howard. He joined us 6 weeks ago. He's got 4 or 5 in escrow now. Here's a new offer. Hannah, young lady, actually my son went to school with her. She wrote her first Zillow Flex offer for Rex. Cameron wrote 4 offers for 4 Zillow Flex clients. Lourdes, she's having a baby in 6 months. Wonderful girl, joined us a year ago. I think she closed 20 homes last year. Opened escrow this morning for Danny. Christian has been with us a short while, opened a Zillow Flex escrow for Lance and Elizabeth. Blake opened a new Zillow Flex escrow from Gus and Evelyn. Don opened a Zillow Flex escrow for Janet Larson. And Blake made offers for 2 other Zillow Flex clients. That happened since Tuesday. So if you ask me, does this work? I hope that answered your question. This is what we call scoreboard, okay? Participate in scoreboard with us. So you scroll back on Slack. Yesterday, we had a magazine come here. We're going to be on a magazine cover. And everybody came in black and blue. And there were 50 or so of us here. And we spent a lot of the day doing photographs. But as you scroll through, here's the trainings. Here's the links to the trainings. Here's the ICAs on duty. Every day this gets posted. Here's Jackie Yee. We'll talk about lenders later. He speaks Mandarin and helps many of our buyers through JJ Mortgage. Here's Hannah saying, hey, anybody got a recommendation for a surveyor? Here's Glenn thanking for an appointment that was just set for him in Seal Beach. Here's David from JJ Mortgage jumping on with rates. We like to control the mortgage piece so that we're accountable. Connor thanks Anna, the ICA, for a Zillow lead. Laney comes on. Here's the buyer's pack. You're going to hear about the buyer's pack tomorrow. Here's a link to the buyer's pack so you can download it and customize himself. Glenn just receives another lead from Monique. Danae receives another appointment in Moreno Valley. Here's Laney. Here's another training boot camp. You're in it right now. David, thank you for responding. Paul responding. Aja sends out her 4th offer for land buyers. And it goes on and on and on. This is our ecosystem. So if you would, let's go back to boot camp. And I hope that helped you guys get an idea of how it works. All good, everybody? Okay, if you're with me still, it's hard to talk like this and not hear you guys. If you want to raise your hand or send a quick message, it will keep me going. That would be very helpful. Thank you. All right, let's talk third about Lofty in your setup. So CRM, it's essential for keeping records of your clients. Please hear me carefully on this. When you put a note in Lofty, it registers in your Zillow Premier app that you've created a note. The details of your notes, it is way better to go into ZPA and originate the note in ZPA. It will then parse into Lofty. When you make a note in Lofty, a message comes up in ZPA that an email was sent or a text was sent, but the content of that message is not there. So even though there is a marriage, for example, when a lead comes into ZPA, ZPA parses that lead over into Lofty and it appears in Lofty. So Lofty is extremely valuable to help you develop your business. However, remember, the client is Zillow. Use your Zillow account. And there's going to be training tomorrow on how to use your Zillow account. ZPA is the Zillow Premier app. Here's the Learning Center for Lofty. In my opinion, it's the most robust CRM that's out there. It has the most robust AI, and that's why we chose it, and we pay for it. So there you go. Number 4 is the Zillow Premier Agent account. Every customer, every referral partner needs to have a Zillow Premier Agent account. As you know, your Zillow Premier Agent account will say underneath your name, the Warburton team. Does not change your pay structure, does not change your personal business, does not change your upline, does not change, your EXP pay structure, but the licenses with the Warburton team, therefore you have to be identified for Zillow leads as the Warburton team. So you'll be required in the first 48 hours to download Zillow Premier app on your phone, post your photograph, say some words about yourself. Please don't include anything religious or philosophical. People just want to know who you are and how you're going to take care of them. So all Warburton team referral partners must have an active Zillow Premier account and accept the invitation to be added to the Warburton team Zillow Premier homepage. If you already have a Zillow Premier agent account, you have received a separate email to accept your team invitation. If you don't have a Zillow Premier Agent account, create your account by clicking that link. You must complete all Zillow Academy trainings on the links document attached. Okay, next, number 5. This is all part of your opening email. Practice your scripts. And you're going to see in a moment, oh, I've been to script seminars. Okay, good luck. The scripts we use are completely different. And we've proved over the last 10,000 leads that we've answered that they work. So please make sure you're familiar with our scripts. Practice your outbound and objection scripts. It's a document. There's the link to it. Reach out to Kathy Rainier when you're comfortable with them so she can meet with you to role play. It's your responsibility to reach out to Kathy. So if you're waiting for connections and you've not yet had your conference with Kathy, you need to reach out to Kathy. And she's going to ask you, hey, when you make an outbound, what do you say? Hey, when you're confirming an appointment, what do you say? So please read those. Again, Zillow wants to know that we're processing the funnel with people who are aware of the tech and aware of the mission. So we also have a document called Right Offers or BAMFAM. We're going to go over that in this training, and it's extremely important that you read through that, please. Okay. See, that's what happens the minute Lainey leaves the room. 1 second. All right, here we go. Practice your scripts. Lainey, I need you to go 1 page down from practice your scripts, please. My mouse is just way too sensitive. So it's number 6. Go back. There. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, no, it's 10. Nope, other way. Right, there we go, reveal. Okay, so we're going to touch on reveal again briefly. Reveal is a mandatory Zoom event held every Tuesday. I already told you about it. You can review the documents in the Reveal and Bob folder in your Agent Drive. So when you sign up with us, you get access to your Agent Drive. All you need to do is type into that drive Reveal or Book of Business, and there's the link to it. Once you join us, your name will appear on Bob. And from day 1 that you start operating these connections, you need to put those connections in your 30, 60, 90 column. And I'm going to train you how to do that in this training today. You can find your name in the Reveal roster. Click on there. That'll connect you to it. And you can find your name on your group tab on the 30, 60, 90 pipeline. So you'll see the several tabs at the bottom of Bob. And one tab says Group A, one tab says Group B. Find out where you are. That's going to be your Reveal call each Tuesday. WhatsApp. Download WhatsApp. All of our leads are dispersed through WhatsApp. That's all I need to say there. When you get started with us, do not get bogged down in admin. Get this out of the way. And number 8 is the most important. Get leads. Get leads. Get working. If you get leads from us, whether they're LODs or live or spearheads, get calling. As soon as you've completed the above steps, you can reach out to Jenny. There's her number for a list of leads on demand and get started. You'll also want to watch the Spearhead channel on Slack to pick up leads. As you show that you're going to be active, engaged, and a present team member, your metrics have begun. And the ICAs will quickly reach a conclusion. How busy are you? How engaged are you? When are you engaged? Remember, your book of business shows your calendar. They want to see in your calendar what days you work and what days you don't. All they're asking is, if you say you're going to work at the Amazon plant on Thursday, be there. And be there with bells on. So if you say you're available on that Thursday afternoon, we have a connection Thursday afternoon, and you don't take that connection, on the back end, we measure how many do we offer you and how many do you accept. That's part of the metric of this platform that we're developing. And we can actually see on the back end a scale of names and who accepts 100% of the time, 70% of the time, 60% of the time. So obviously, if you come up on that metric and we go, okay, they accept a lead 5% of the time, and we get a $2 million lead that wants to look at a home in 2 hours, you're not going to get a call for that lead. So we're just looking at metrics. How much do you want to do? When do you want to do it? So when a lead comes in as part of our homeownership mission, we make sure that that potential homeowner is set with somebody whose intent matches their intent. That's our entire program. Okay, ICA department. The Warburton team's unlike any other real estate team. Our ICA team sets appointments for you. They confirm those appointments with the listing agent. Read through the documents in the ICA folder in your Google Drive to familiarize yourself with the system. I will be going over with you with that, hopefully here before lunch. All right. You see at the bottom here, it says, set up your agent Google Calendar ASAP. You must have your Google Calendar set up to receive appointments. So that's your numero uno. If you spend Sunday morning at church, then black out Sunday morning in your tracker, right? If Wednesday your son's in a football game 3 times a month, put that football game in there so that we know. You're going on vacation for a week, put that in there so that we know. We're not trying to measure whether you answer or not when you've blacked out your time. What we're interested in is when you answer or not if you haven't blacked out your time. Got it? All right, next page, please. Okay, training videos. We already touched on this. You absolutely must watch the Bob and Reveal training video. There it is right there. Circle it, highlight it if you're doing this online. That's critical. I'm going to be on Reveal next Tuesday. So is Kathy. Zillow takes a roster, and you need to be on it. The agent schedule, please review the weekly schedule. We still send this out every week, same time, right? And you update it? The weekly schedule, everything? Okay. And weekly, you still send out that weekly schedule every week. What day does that go out? All right. So between Friday and Sunday every week, we send out the weekly schedule. Pardon? So it's on the newsletter. The newsletter goes out when? Every Friday to Sunday, newsletter for the company. Okay. Your referral partner agreement, we already touched on that. You need to sign your referral partner agreement with us that just specifies, how our operation goes between us, and then attend lead conversion boot camp. So that is your introduction email. Quite a lot, but that will get you on track. All right, let's go to the next piece. So this may sound obvious, but it's amazing how many people say to us, hey, Andy, I've been with you a month and so on, and I don't have enough leads. And then we go on the back end and we see we've sent them 62 leads and they answered 4 times. And I know why this is. It's because, again, the 1905 industry has trained us, don't let your business be too invasive, be available when you're available. But we're operating the Amazon principle. Here, the focus is not the agent, the focus is the customer. And the customer wants us available when they're available. And so very often we see what is indicative of our industry, that many real estate agents really aren't that available. Somehow it's squeezed in between the gym and their favorite breakfast, and then a couple of calls, and then complaining about an escrow, and calling an escrow company. Now it's lunch, and meeting a friend, and oops, we had too many glasses of wine. You're coming back from wine country, phone rings. It's not a buyer who's very motivated, haven't got them pre-qualified yet. Pass on it, text them, say you'll see them tomorrow. At the end of the day at 6, you say you're full time. And Amazon's unloading truckloads of customers. And so our whole piece is about, let's create homeownership in America. Let's provide a service to those who dominate the traffic, which is no longer the brokerages, it's the tech companies. So a service to the consumer, a service to the tech companies, and let's measure ourselves so that we know we're the appropriate partner for that process. So I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it. Watch for all the company leads. Again, it's a fast-paced team. Watch for lead assignment texts and calls on your cell phone. You will be a part either of and these are WhatsApp groups now, but they're going to be all on our platform, our app that you'll download. By the way, we've got 16 people in beta right now. Right now it's WhatsApp, and there's an LA South, an LA North, an OC North, a San Diego North, an IE North, an IE South, desert cities. You'll be on whichever one of those app channels when you sign up with us that you say you want to service leads in that area. So watch that channel because leads come up there all the time. And I'll tell you something, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is insane. I think it's correct to say Saturday, Sunday this last week, we have 56 appointments made with buyers between 600,000 and 5 million. And some of those leads we had to send out 6 times before we got anybody to respond. Yeah. So we're really, you get it, right? This is a huge change in the industry. To me, again, it's a bit like, imagine Travelocity today, and they're generating leads for Carlsbad. I used to live in Carlsbad, I love Carlsbad, right? So a lot of tourists go there. And Travelocity says to Carlsbad and Oceanside travel agents, on Friday night, we're going to send you 600 travelers between now and then. And they go online and they find that 70% of the travel agents are closed on the weekend. And you understand my point. And most of them don't know how to use devices, so they don't know what a push notification is. And you just have this deluge. So Travelocity says, okay, this isn't working. We need to set up, in their case, artificial intelligence interface so that we can handle the traffic. That's what's happening in the real estate industry, okay? And you think it's bad now, wait for 5 years from now, right? And remember, all of my generation, we're going to die the next 20 years. So everybody after us is going to be operating based on their devices. So everybody is going to demand an Amazon level experience. There's only like 20 years left that the old guys like I can survive with the old system. There's 20 years left and it's done. It's done forever. Okay. So, and that is my passion. That is my passion. That now this underserved community of home buyers can be served at a level that has never been experienced in the real estate industry. That now, and frankly, I personally believe that many of these companies will use a humanoid form artificial intelligence for the first level connection. We all got opinions on that. Sorry, but it's coming. Yeah, it's got a ways to go, but I'm talking 20 years. 20 years from now, that will happen. And until then, and even when that happens, still the idea of an artificial intelligent robot driving a car to show somebody, that's 50 years away. But for 20 years, very feasibly, voice recognition is going to go. I won't go into the tech, but I know a lot about it. So you need to understand, with that flood of technology, the only way to handle that number of people is to find enough people who are immediately available. We now have that opportunity. This is a window of opportunity in emergent technology, in a disruption of a workplace. We are here. We have an opportunity to build out, I think, massive teams to serve Zillow in this purpose. Does this make sense? I hope you're really catching the big picture here, rather than, oh gosh, how do I sell a house? Which is important, but it's part of a big picture. So watch for lead assignment texts and calls on your phone. Save those phone numbers. Watch for lead assignments on WhatsApp. Watch for lead assignments on Slack. And here's a big piece of our structure. Read it. 3-way transfers. Sometimes our ICA will not only set the appointment, but actually transfer the client to you. That's particularly true when they're spearheading. So if your phone goes off and it's got an ICA number, it is highly recommended that you answer that call. Make sure you set an alert on your ICA numbers, okay? And we use 3-way transfers for connecting clients with agents and for connecting customers with loan specialists. Please don't call them loan officers. Please don't say the word pre-qual. We want to be inclusive. We want to create financial opportunity. And we do that by 3-way transfers. And that will also be part of our training. Next page, please. I think I've touched on this already. Let's go to the next page. All right, this is perfect. So three-way lender transfers are a vital key to your success in online lead conversion. I'm actually going to take a little step back here for a second. And we don't have a document for this. I want to share this with you. There is a mindset change. And I hope that you're getting this from me. You're getting from me, how do I actually do this? But one thing that psychologists and psychiatrists, and sociologists have learned is that you can't get people to do something unless their mind is set that they want to do it or see a relevance of it. And that's the struggle in a changing industry. That you have a mindset that says, no, I want to do it this way, right? So think of it like somebody who shoes a horse and along comes a motor car, right? I've always done it this way. Well, you had metal workers who used to shoe horses that went in and made cars, but when they made cars, they went on a production line. Do you understand the concept? And so a lot of those guys that went on the production line said, I miss my barn. I miss the straw. I miss mucking out in the morning. And I just got to come in here and clock in. But miss it or not, they wouldn't make money unless they did it. So mindset is a big part. The course I just completed at MIT on AI technology, there was a fabulous expert there who does all kinds of integration analysis for companies like IBM. And he said, you know, it's not just the tech that is changing our world. The tech is definitely a challenge to invent the tech. He said the second part of it, which is even bigger, is integrating that tech into huge companies like IBM. Because you have to change the mindset of the people within the organization that'll actually use the tech. It's that same old thing of, you know, the person who gets mad at God because they're in a flood and they drowned in the flood. And God says, I sent the boat, I sent the helicopter, and I sent this, that, the other, and you didn't want it. You're waiting for me to save you. And you understand the whole point. It's that whole concept. The tech is there, but unless the mindset is there that this is relevant, people don't use it. So you have huge groups today in the real estate industry trying to argue that it's about relationship. Well, of course, relationship is important. But if you've got 220 million people who are looking for a home and you're not going to interact with those people, you're going to have a relationship with an ever shrinking pool, which is why when we speak to many of you online and you interview with us, you go, Andy, I love people. I love real estate. I don't have any customers. And I can't knock on 100 doors a day because people will think I got COVID. So the whole world has changed. I'm digressing a bit, but do you understand what I'm saying? So mindset, let me give you a couple of little prompters and sort of maybe irritate you a little bit. This is kind of fun. Mindset changes that are happening. Mindset change number one. Oh, that was a bad lead. So the mindset of the giants like Zillow and Realtor.com is there's not a good lead and a bad lead. First of all, they don't see it as a lead. They see it as a transaction. So the mind shift change they made was it's not a lead to make you money. It's a connection to make a relationship leading to a transaction. So Zillow was committed to making data public so they could connect with home buyers, reveal the information the real estate company had concealed for many years, and provide an equal opportunity for everybody to have access to those properties instead of pocket listings. Remember those days? Okay. So good lead, bad lead is a shifted mindset to, I want to make a connection until there's a transaction. That's a completely different mindset. So you're not coming here to get leads from us. You're coming here to get connections from us that if you use the right tech in your funnel, if you're interactive with that tech, so I want you to remember that phrase, interactive tech. If you're interactive with that tech, then the connections will lead to transactions. It's people that go, okay, they weren't ready to buy right now. I'll put them on a drip. That drip copies you every day. You never pick up a property out of that drip and go, hey, Betty, I just saw this one. What do you think? You never pick up the phone or send a text and go, hey, I was just in the store. While I was in the store, I saw that you looked at this property. I'd love to help you. That's interactive with tech. It's relationship and tech together. If you use interactive tech, you will turn connections into transactions. So the mindset changes. Are these good leads or bad leads? Are these new leads or old leads? These are human beings. These are human beings interested in real estate, make a connection, because unless they become a person who sadly lives on the street, they're going to live somewhere. What's your role going to be in that? So it's a mindset change. Here's another mindset change. One of the first phrases that I heard when I got my license 33 years ago was buyers are liars. That's a huge mindset change. I will tell you, HUD does not like that phrase. Buyers are liars. Okay, what kind of buyer are you saying is a liar now? Is there a color differential? Is there an economic differential? Is there a religious differential? What kind of buyers are you categorizing as liars? This is not super popular in the United States. It's not super popular with government officials. But if your mindset is buyers are liars, the first time somebody shows up, you go, oh yeah, I went to a conference, buyers are liars. When did you show up on time last time? Can I ask you that? You get it? So it's a mindset change. Instead of buyers are liars, here's our mentality. Serve the buyer as an underserved consumer. Buyers are liars, serve the buyer. Buyers are liars, serve the buyer. Underserved community, underserved consumer. Buyers are liars, serve the underserved buyer. Which do you think is going to last? I know which is going to last for sure. Do you think travel agents went, travelers are liars. People come in all the time, want a plane flight. They never buy a plane flight. Travelocity went, let's just give them the plane flight. Okay. Here's another mindset change. Agent schedule first. My schedule is important. I'm a professional, just like an attorney. You can't just walk into his office, just like an insurance broker or a stockbroker. You can't walk into his office. Therefore, you can't just walk into my office. You can't call me whenever. You're in my outbound call schedule. You're in my appointment setting schedule. You're in my FSBO call schedule. You're in my expired calling schedule. This is a consumer that the truck's pulling up to the Amazon dock. All they know is they want a house. They don't know all that stuff that you've been taught. But you've been taught agent schedule first, life-work balance. They just want a house. Nobody goes to Zillow to look for a friend. People go to Zillow to look for their part of the American dream. So how do you do that? You say, Andy, so am I going to have to work 24/7? No. You become a part of a bigger metric that analyzes at this time about 100 people. Who is available? When are they available? Let's present them opportunity when they're available. And will they perform when that opportunity is presented? When you run that metric, you can now handle, hopefully one day, 220 million people a month. So instead of agent schedule first, the thinking is, let's get availability based on the customer need. Do you hear the difference? Agent first, availability for customer. You're like, Andrew, that's not the way I've been taught. And that's why I'm sharing with you, we are serving an underserved community. It is the highest dollar item, least served community in commerce. Even in trading, you get immediate access through Robinhood. You get fractionalized access to Bitcoin through exchanges and Coinbase and so on. Whereas we still want to bring people back to this control environment. Here's another thinking change. An agent's independent. I'm an independent agent. I can take independent actions, basically, do what I want when I want. But in the Amazon world, it's not about independent agents. It's about accountable and predictable agents. The consumer that goes to Amazon wants to know, what do you read when you buy a product? The review, because it's accountable. They want to know, they don't want somebody back from Amazon saying, hey, I worked too hard this week and I'm not feeling well today. I'll let you know about the black sweater tomorrow, right? But that's our consumer. That's the consumer looking at real estate. So instead of it's my schedule, don't tell me what to do, it's, hey, I want to be accountable and predictable so I can create predictable response to consumers, predictable income for myself, a predictable future for my business, because I know what I'm going to do every day structurally throughout the days, weeks, and months. It's a mindset change. We're in the business of metrics creation and management resulting from traffic flow. So you got all this traffic flow. We want to measure agent response so that we can provide an integrity-filled response to the consumer. So I just wanted to digress to that for a moment. This is about a mindset change. Now let's talk about a mindset change with lenders. For many, many years, including myself, many agents have said, okay, you want to look at property, let me get you requalified. You will sign a tour fulfillment promise with Zillow, a legal document that says, by the way, would any of you on this call discriminate against somebody because of their color? Can we see a show of hands? I just want to see if anybody puts their hands up. Would anybody discriminate on this call because of sexual preference? Would anybody discriminate on this call because of religion? Would anybody discriminate on this call because their finances didn't deserve you driving to see them? You just broke the law. So in our new world and new environment, HUD considers that if you deal with 20,000 showings a month, whatever Zillow's total number is around the nation, and you tell those 20,000 people, we won't meet you unless you're qualified, you could potentially use that to disqualify possibly qualified people and segregate parts of the underserved community and make it prohibitive for them to buy a home. Think that one through. So when you work with Zillow, you sign a tour fulfillment promise that says you will not discriminate for race, color, creed, religion, sexual preference, or finance. So the first visit with that customer is a freebie. You will have connections with people that they can't buy a sandwich. It's gonna happen. Does it happen a lot of the time? No. Does it happen? Yes. Now comes in this revolution in our industry. Remember, we're on a mission to create homeownership. Unfortunately, our mission has been to create commission. Will we get commission? 100%. You think I pay for this without making commission? Of course you made commission, but that's not the mission, right? That's the fruit. The mission is to create homeownership, is to serve the underserved. So now you're going to approach that consumer and say, hey, Betty, I am so excited that you love this home and we want to create opportunity for you. And here it comes right here. There's a number of people I work with that frankly, and I don't know if you know this, on a $400,000 or $500,000 house, you save a couple $100 a month, you're going to spend about $80,000 less in interest over a 30-year period. And our job is to make sure that you build wealth for your family. So we've got people that are specialized in this who really help you through. In fact, I heard about a new program recently. Hold on a second. Yeah, David, I'm with Betty here, and first-time home buyer, she really wants to get the best situation possible. Doesn't know what type of loan to get. Yeah, I know. We just closed. Yeah, I know. Can I just transfer you? And you pass the phone to your client. I did not say, let me call my loan officer and have you run their credit, right? It's this warm touch. That's how I am as a person. Look, this is about your future. It's about how much equity you're going to build. It's about how quickly you amortize your loan. How many of you as real estate home buyer agents have said to somebody, I'm super concerned about how rapidly you amortize your loan? I would say it's about 2% of agents. But actually, it's a huge piece because if you save them $200, they add that $200 onto their payment, they're going to knock 8 years off their loan. They're going to save about $80,000 in interest just because you connected them with the right person. So again, HUD's interested. Are these people getting introduced to the right people? So we use three-way transfers a lot. I personally believe that whole mechanism of I won't meet you unless you're pre-qualified. I won't invest time in you until you prove that I can make money. That is old school. It's going away. You might be able to prove me wrong for the next 20 years, but from 20 years from now, unfortunately, it won't even be a debate. So three-way lender transfer is a big part of what we do. Most online leads are speaking with several agents and loan officers. Please know that. Win the confidence and cooperation of your client quickly, or you'll find yourself being ghosted. This is not the same as working with a sphere of influence client who may tolerate slow response time. Here's our mantra: speed to lead, speed to service, speed to results. Speed to lead, speed to service, speed to results. Three-way, connect your client on the phone with your financing advisor, with your loan advisor, while you're showing them homes. I have done this personally hundreds of times. That I'm in the second home and I go, wow, I see you guys. You're really excited about getting a home, aren't you? You're really excited about retiring here to Palm Springs, aren't you? You're really excited about getting this home on the water. You're really excited about getting your first condo. You know what? I'm committed to making that happen. That's why Zillow introduced you to me. I'm just going to make a quick call right now to a guy that I know well who really helps people get their own loan amortized more quickly and get the right loan and save the money. Let me just call him really quickly and see if he's available. I don't even ask them. And I make that call and I pass the phone over. And the next thing you know, they're speaking to somebody that we trust as a company. And now, instead of waiting for a pre-qual, they verbally pre-qualify them on the phone. Then they ask them for the follow-up documentation and we start writing offers. That's something else you're going to hear that's different. We write offers before we have all the documentation. You, well, Andrew, that's crazy. Okay, why don't you tell that to the 458 home buyers we got into homes last year? So our three-way connection in the home is a huge part of our success. Do not say, I'll have my lender call you. In the showing appointment, say something like this: we're really committed to helping you get the best home and the best financing option for your purchase. Let me just ask my financing advisor a quick question. Then call one of the JJ or Zillow loan officers. And when they pick up, you say this: hey, I'm with a great client who really wants the best terms possible on a loan. I know there's lots of new programs out there right now. Can you chat for a moment? Then hand over the phone to the client with a smile so they can talk to your advisor. This works well every time and saves tons of time waiting for a lender to call. Because what you're going to experience is, if you don't do this, and you insist on the 1905 way of doing things, people are going to say, okay, when your lender calls me, I'll book another appointment. But BAMFAM is a huge part of our success. You want to book the next meeting before the first meeting's over. And if you don't use the three-way lender transfer, they will say to you, okay, when your lender calls me, I'll book an appointment. Then they ghost you. And you know what happens? 2 months later, it's on Spearhead and we're transferring the customer to somebody else. So I can't stress enough how important this is. Do I have any questions on this? There must be a question from somebody on this, unless I'm just brilliant. See, somebody's going to ask a question now because they think I'm arrogant. Are there any questions on this? Is everybody still awake? Could you raise a hand and just say, I'm awake?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm awake.
I'm awake.
love it.
I'm awake.
All
I'm
right,
awake. I have a question.
do it.
So for example, you call the first lender and you make that really nice soft introduction, but they're not available. Do you continue to go down the line until you get someone, or what is the protocol?
Your dedication is to the consumer, not to the loan officer.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because what will happen, Tracy, as good as you are, and as long as you've done this, you have to understand these people have got 4 people calling them off 5 different websites. The minute you say goodbye, somebody else is going to ping them. They're going to get another push notification. So creating that leadership cadence at the beginning is absolutely essential.
Got it. Okay.
Other questions?
Andrew, more of a remark. You taught us in one of the classes, if you're going to a meeting, call the loan agent before the meeting to let them know, I just want to make sure you're available at 1:30. I'm meeting a new buyer. And this way they will be ready at the phone.
Lainey, could you put that into this document? Can you make a note? Because that came up in the last boot camp. We need to make that change. And Vicky, you have now told me that 3 times, and I will give you a personal because every single time you're correct. It is really smart. And I'm gonna date you back, Vicky. I didn't tell you this story before, but I'm gonna take you back now to 2002-03. And remember, by 2004, I was 29th in the world for RE/MAX. My best weekend ever, I sold 5 homes in 1 weekend. True story. So I would call the loan officers I was working with. There was one guy who was like Key, and he loved me and hated me because he knew that I'd be with buyers every weekend, and he knew that if he did not pick up my call, I would call another loan officer. And he would give me lectures that I wasn't loyal and I wasn't faithful. And I said, his name is Marshall, by the way, lovely chap. I said, Marshall, I'm really sorry that that upsets you, but I'm here for the consumer. I'm not here for you. So he would get even more upset, but did he ever take my calls? Every time he possibly could, right? So I would literally, then he used to put people in your car because it was pre-COVID, you know, and people didn't wear masks when they got in your car. And I would put people in my car. But before they got in my car, I would call Marshall. I would say, I'm meeting Betty at 10. I'm meeting John at 1. I'm meeting Sally at the end of the day at 3. Please be ready because I haven't connected them yet for loan advice. And so Vicky's point is absolutely essential. They're not in your car anymore. There isn't that degree of loyalty. So all the more reason, let your lender know. We publish every day the cell phone numbers of the Zillow home loan people that we deal with. We publish the cell phone numbers of the loan officers. It's a weird noise. What's that? We publish those numbers. Make sure you call them at the beginning of the day. Let them know the name of your customer, and they'll be looking for the three-way transfer. Vicky, excellent point. I'm going to have to buy you dinner somewhere because I owe you.
Oh, no, I still owe you, but thank you.
Bless you. Every Friday, by the way, Lainey's saying she posts the availability also of which home loan officers are working that weekend. Okay, any other questions on this? This is a huge part of our cadence. Yes, sir. So hold on. I want everybody to hear. Imelda, would you pass that to this gentleman? David, right? And there's a button on the bottom. When it goes green, they'll hear you.
So what if the client said they already working with the lender?
So it does happen, obviously. We really believe that a big part of success is establishing leadership. And we understand people are working with a lender. We strongly encourage you to gently lead the person to a second opinion. And that's why we do this warm handoff. Remember, most of the people say, I have an agent, but they buy through us anyway. I have a loan officer means maybe some guy, that they tee off with, does loans. So we go over several scripts of that. But if you said to me right now, I have a lender, sir, I completely understand. By the way, this is my joke. I'm English, and English people have really bad teeth. I cannot count how many root canals I've had. Every time I have a root canal, I want at least 2 dentists to look at it because when that tooth is gone, it's gone. And it's the same, sir, with a loan. We respect your relationship with somebody that we know. But you have to understand, if we're able to save you $200 a month, you put that towards your payment, it could save you 8 years on your loan. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to just chat with David really quick and ask about his situation and see where we're at. Then I'll call that David loan officer, unless they just flat say no. Right? And 9 times out of 10, they'll talk because you now positioned it, you scaled it. And I think often, sometimes also, David, just saying, look, we respect that relationship, we understand it, it disarms it. Now it's not a competitive, it's a team effort. Yeah? So it's a great question.
Thank you.
By the way, to David's question also, you're going to see the script in a minute. People say, I'm already working with an agent. I absolutely love that one. That means they're scared of you. They think you're going to sell them a home. They want to run as fast as possible, right? So I'll deal with that one also. Any other questions on three-way transfers? If not, we've got 14 minutes. So I'm going to move on. Okay, fantastic. Thank you all for your participation. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to break at 12, just like I said, which is in 14 minutes. But I want to start on Bob and the words of it. And then when we come back, I'm going to show you Bob and get you comfortable with what Bob is and how it functions. So remember, again, Bob is our book of business. We call it a predictable production system. One of the issues brokers have had for years is this month Bob sells a home, this month Sally sells a home, next month John sells a home, next month Elizabeth sells a home, the month after Simon sells a home. And you really don't know, is it going to be Simon, is it going to be Bob, is it going to be Jill? It depends who goes to church, who goes to a Bible study, who meets a friend there, whose friend doesn't have, you get that. It's so many moving parts. Did you show up to your kid's game? Did that person who's going to buy a house show up at the kid's game? So it's all unpredictable. And if you look at most brokerages, They can just tell you, look, we got 200 people. We average 30 deals a month. We average 35 deals a month. They really don't know where they're coming from, other than maybe 4 or 5 top producers who have a fairly consistent cadence. So most real estate offices you go to, the awards at the end of the year, and 6 people win 9 awards and 2 people win an award each. So what we're into is providing a platform that this new infusion funnel of consumers can be processed in a predictable way. To do that, we need a huge army of people who believe in American home ownership, who will provide measurable metrics so that we can create predictable results for Zillow. Every month, by the way, Zillow gives us a quota. We don't meet that quota, we get less leads the next month. We've never not met that quota. Do you hear me? Provide a quota every month. Can you imagine in the olden days, going to a real estate office and saying, we require you to sell 1 a month. If you don't sell 1 a month, you're not allowed to come to the office. What would you do? Quit and go to another office. But actually what they're doing is the best thing they could possibly do for your business, and say, we want to teach you how to be predictable. But we've built the real estate business on a structure that we're independent. We can do it whenever the heck that we want. And again, sorry to repeat myself, that's what's changed in our world. So Bob is a predictable production system. We used to call it the 30-60-90 book of business. Most agents and loan officers focus on, of course, how to get a paycheck as soon as possible. This focus is what's in escrow and what's coming up in the next 30 days. We call this a vertical book of business. At the Warburton team, we work with 3 types of agents: deliberate agents, transitional agents, and occasional agents. The primary focus of our business is to develop agents through systems and processes whereby they create dependable, predictable, and deliberate careers. The Warburton team creates a production focus with the 30-60-90 book of business. Bob creates structure. Bob is a planning tool for the agent and the team. Bob is a measuring tool for the agent and the team. Bob's structure is based on accountability for core actions. In the business world, core actions are called KPIs, key performance indicators. The repetition of actions produces results. Agents who develop skills, character, and mindset create predictable production and dependable business. Now, that's a lot of words, but here's what it comes down to. Most agents will come in and go, hey, how you doing today? Great, I met a buyer, right? And then the next day they didn't, the next day they didn't, the next day they didn't. Great, I met a buyer. Or great, I opened an escrow. And so the measurable performance indicators are, am I meeting a buyer? Do I have a listing appointment? Did I put something in escrow? Those are your top 3 key performance indicators. Actually, business doesn't work that way. Imagine you have a sandwich shop. How'd you do? Great. I sold 30 sandwiches. Okay. What about tomorrow? The next day, the next day, the next day? What about the last 30 days? Well, we noticed that we sell X number of sandwiches if we send out X number of online pings to local soccer teams. We notice that we sell X number of sandwiches if we open opposite a ball field, traffic again. We notice we sell X number of sandwiches of this category, so we have to make sure we get this much Swiss cheese, that's more popular, this much arugula because that's popular. And so they've got a whole production line based on key performance indicators. Did you order the Swiss cheese? Did you order the arugula? Did you send out the social media promotion? Did you post on Instagram? Did you boost on Instagram? Did you target certain groups that have kids that come in 10 at a time? Yes. So we sold sandwiches. So the net result is not that you sold the sandwiches. It's that you did the key performance indicators. So within Zillow and within the Warburton team and our iConvert structure, we have key performance indicators. If you make 50 outbound calls a day with our LODs, out of those 50 outbound calls, you're going to talk to between 5 and 8 people. Out of those 5 and 8 people, you're going to make 1 to 2 appointments. When you've done that 4 times, you're going to make a sale. If you do that every day, you're going to sell 2 homes a month, 24 homes a year. What's the key performance indicator? The sale? No. It's ordering the cheese. And that's what's so different about this structure. So Amazon, of course, they're about how many people buy the black sweater. What they do way before you buy the black sweater is they measure how many people are shopping for black sweaters. What are the top 3 items people who shop black sweaters also shop for? Let's send out prompts to their desktop or device advertising those items. And therefore, we know as a result, 6% of them will buy a black sweater. So when they buy the black sweater, it's like, I told you so. It's not, I sold a black sweater. It's, I told you so. So they go back to ordering the cheese and ordering the arugula. They go back to setting up these tracking behaviors to see what you do as a consumer. So now bring that over to real estate. We do not operate real estate like that. We're the only major high dollar industry in the world that does not require their service agents to use KPIs. We're the only one left. The car industry does, the travel industry does, the retail industry does, the taxi industry does, the medical industry does. We don't. We're the only industry left on the planet of a high dollar purchase that does not measure KPIs. Actually, excuse me, diamond sales. They do not measure who shows up and when for diamond sales. But other than that, key performance indicators. So you want to succeed with us, learn what the key performance indicators are. And Zillow breaks that down. 53, I've got 7 minutes. Zillow breaks that down. Their major key performance indicators are 100, 90, 65, 15, and 5. 100 connections. Are you available taking connections? Because think about it, you're not going to make a sale if you don't take connections. Because there's 220 million people asking to be connected with you, not 220 million, 220 million visitors and however many million it is, 2 million, asking to be connected with you. So if you're not here knowing every day you're making connections, then inevitably your key performance indicator isn't there. Therefore, you're not going to make a sale, right? So then next is, out of those 100 people we connect you with, we want you to make an appointment with 90 of them. And out of those 90 you make an appointment with, we want you to make sure 65 of them show up. How's that? That's your interactive tech funnel. You set an appointment with an online lead and it's 3 days from now. You don't contact them. You don't send them property. You don't know what we know is proven on web traffic will generate a conversion. That person isn't going to show up. So if you drop below 65 met with, they know that you're not operating the KPIs. Therefore, they know you're not going to make sales. Now they've created predictability. By conversely, they know that if you are operating a relational tech funnel, that out of your 90, 65 are going to show up, and they know that you're going to produce sales. Now, out of those 65, they want to know that you are going to write offers with 15% of them. Now, they know that if you're still thinking the 1905 way, and you're saying, well, when I pre-approved you and I've done this and that, and I've got your POF and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, then we'll write an offer. They know that you're not going to write offers on 15% of them. Now, okay, on your sphere of influence, I get it. But, you know, what is it? 94% of real estate agents in the United States of America cannot sell 6 homes a year, 3 years in a row. So even though SOI works for the brokerages to survive, it doesn't work to convert 220 million. And that's why the major companies like Zillow and Realtor.com don't go to the major real estate companies and say, hey, we're just going to splatter our leads on all your agents, because they know the agents aren't trained to perform by KPIs. I hope I'm making myself clear here. So the KPIs that Zillow use, 100 out of 100, want you to do 90 appointments. 90 appointments. We set those appointments now. So our appointment setting rate's 92%. Out of that 92, 65, you need to meet with them. We know that if you don't meet with 65% of the people we connect you with, there's something wrong in your relational tech funnel. Out of 65, you're going to write offers with 15. We know that if you're timid, think that you're too pushy, and all those old expressions you hear, that you won't write those 15. We need you to write those 15 offers, because if you do, we've proven through tech analysis and metric analysis, once you write an offer with somebody, the likelihood they will call you their agent jumps 80%. So Is it worth writing an offer that you and your heart feel may well not get accepted because they haven't completed all their documentation yet? But now that customer knows that you are serving the underserved and they feel loyal to you. Was it worth it? 100% it was worth it. That is an essential mind shift change towards the homeowner revolution in America. Can somebody just prompt him really quickly so he wakes up, please? Let me just like, oh, is that? You're a story for a second, my brother. Okay, so let's go back to this. 30-60-90 Book of Business focuses on creating, here we go, horizontal motion. Now watch this with me. In the old days, what we looked at was, did I put somebody in escrow? Do I have a listing appointment? Did I close a sale? So you look at what we call the 30-day vertical channel. How many of you have been in the business for a few years know that you put 2 in escrow, you're all excited, right? And you focus on those 2 because you need the money. So you're doing the physical inspection, you're doing the pest control report, you're doing this, you're talking to the escrow agent. You can't believe the agent on the other side. Oh my God. And you've got the drama online and so on and so forth. You're exhausted. 30 days later, you close one of the 2 deals and now you start prospecting again. So that's what we call a 30-day vertical book of business. What we're teaching and the structure we're setting up is that you create a 90-day horizontal book of business rather than a 30-day vertical book of business. Because we know, based on KPIs, if you convert into a 90-day path a percentage of your connections and say within 90 days, I will do the work, the relational tech connection that's required to get that person to be a now buyer. And you have people in your 60-day column and you say, in 60 days, I will convert them. Then your 30-day column, here it comes, will always be full. Because you have horizontal motion rather than focusing, I got to get a deal right now. Some people operate a 25-year career based on a 30-day vertical book of business. So that's what Bob is all about. 11:59. Using Bob is mandatory for all TWT agents who want live leads. Agents enter all clients who will transact within the next 30, 60, or 90 days of business. The agents execute key performance tasks which serve the client. So let's make this really simple. You go, Andy, this is a lot of words. Wow. What are we really saying? We're saying 220 million people hit Zillow a month. 70 million people hit Realtor.com a month. 30 million people hit every real estate major brokerage in the world. 10 times more people, and we've all known all our lives, it's about traffic. Point 1. Point 2, how much of that traffic deserves to own a home? And how underserved are these high-end consumers? Point number 3, how can we be part of the tech revolution that makes equal opportunity for everybody? Tech is breaking governments, guys. Tech is breaking dictatorial governments where the people can hold up a phone and show what dictators are doing and governments collapse. Well, guess what? Tech is also disrupting every major real estate major industry on the planet, and real estate is the next one. So we're saying, why not build a fabulous career on a mission to create a new surge of home ownership in America, to provide and serve the underserved? And how are we going to do that in volume? Do we do it the way people did in 1905, a few years after they invented electricity? Or we do it in such a way that we are available, that we are accountable, that we are responsive, and that we're willing to be measured and coached and trained so that we can create predictable, profitable businesses. So thank you so much for listening to this first session. After lunch, I'm going to go into Bob in detail, and I think we'll probably finish a little before 3 today. Thank you all very much. Get a quick break. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll see you in 45 minutes. Thank you very much.